controllers here looking very carefully at the situation. Obviously a major malfunction.
Yours in Mind by Beyoncé is a retrospective short film, released to celebrate the one-year anniversary of Beyoncé, her self-titled album. This visual album is her fifth studio album and was released on December 13, 2013 at midnight. It was released with no prior announcement or promotion, but still managed to break records on iTunes, selling 828,773 copies in the first day of the release. There are 15 songs and 17 videos that make up the visual self-titled album. The album differed from previously released music, as fans saw and heard a more mature version of Beyoncé. In the short film Yours in Mind, Beyoncé talks about her growth. She uses a black and white style film with a voiceover and scenes filled with symbolism. We will now take a look into the short film. In this short film, Beyoncé uses a black and white filter throughout the film. All the scenes and clips in the film come directly from the visual album. You can find some scenes from songs like Jealous, No Angel, Blue, and Rocket. The only music video not seen in the film was the song 7-Eleven, possibly because it had little to no symbolism. Although this film was black and white, there were a few scenes that included flashing lights, almost making you forget that it was black and white. The black and white style film was probably put as a form of reflection. Yours and Mine includes a voiceover like this one, in which Beyoncé talks about her growth and explains her thoughts. The voiceover narrative talks about the reality of fame, growth from personal battles, feminism, humanism, her body, and her perspective of life. Alongside the voiceover, she includes pieces of her songs, Mine, Blue, Ghost, Rocket, and Flawless, but just the background vocals. At certain moments, the songs are either there to avoid no sound during a montage or while she is emphasizing a specific message. For example, after saying I have dreams and I feel like I have the power to actually make those a reality, she adds a 5-second audio clip of Haunted and returns to the story. The last type of audio found throughout the film is the sounds of water, fire, air, and explosions. This audio goes along with the visuals or transitions like she does with the songs. The short film is filled with plenty of symbolism. They range from dances to close-ups of her emotionless face. From the combination of scenes and narration through voiceover, we see the symbolism to express these main themes: reality of fame, growth from personal battles, feminism, humanism, her body, and her perspective of life. In the first few minutes, she expressed how she felt about fame, recognizing the good and bad. The video begins with a close-up of her sitting alone in a long table with an angered expression on her face. The camera pans out to the table as she stands up walking in the room alone. The voiceover expressed her sadness over not being able to enjoy simple things like going out. The scene continues with herself looking in the mirror, then walking to candles. The candles were bright, almost as if a flashlight was on her face. She uses that to make her point. Although she is famous and can enjoy certain things, she has the power to do anything she wants because of fame. Then she talks about her image and the struggle of being put a label that doesn't represent her. The scene shows Beyoncé being submerged into water and struggling to get out of the water, but it is later transitioned into her emerging from the water. While emerging from the water, she sees the positive aspects, stating that accepting the conflict is important. She adds that it is important not to heavily rely on fame as she emerges from the water. The video transitions into her talking about her struggles she has seen and went through in her life. As she explains seeing her mother try to please people and her following the footsteps of her mother, she has two different scenes. One is an all-white dancer with barely any features. The other is her in all black, both dancing. The two dances symbolize the conflict. The point really is emphasized when the scene transitions into her in a white wrap that she is struggling to get out of. At this point, she talks about learning from those struggles not to be afraid of conflict, and we see the camera focus on her eyes seeing herself struggle. From there is a small small montage of scenes that are slightly seen as unsettling, accompanied with the sound of wind. This symbolizes that eerie feeling when you think of conflict, but it ends with a person being thrown into flames to complete the message of growing from conflict. She ends that part showing a fast-paced montage of her smashing trophies and a war scene to a close-up of her face. She expresses understanding that the struggles helped her become who she is. From conflict, she transitions into talking about her body and the importance of the body. She first shows scenes of her walking through a street and the sculpture of a face that symbolizes how the body is bowed. From the sculpture, the sound of water begins, and the scene changes to water flowing on Beyoncé. The water represents the new knowledge of how important the body is, as she states in the voiceover. The narrative then changes to her pickiness over what she does with her body and the decisions she makes over her body. She transitions into showing scenes of intimacy with her husband and changes the topic to the beauty of marriage. Although it was a very small piece, but it was clear. Her goal of defending her marriage. When she got married, there were many people who criticized her for her choice of getting married, and it is common people now don't view the marriage as she does. There is a swift transition we see from a white screen to the scene from the music video of Flawless, along with background vocals of the song Flawless. The song is highly known as a song in which Beyoncé expresses her view on feminism and empowerment. She takes this moment to not only express her previous fears of being called a feminist, but she talks about what feminism means to her. The scene from the club-like setting also shows people dancing in union and pushing each other at the same time. Here she explains how feminism has been seen as something negative, but she sees it as wanting equality for men, both for men and women. The scene then changes to a chaotic war scene, where she is seen on top of a man with a mask symbolizing her support for men. She uses her narrative to explain her empathy for men, especially African American men, and her empathy for women. Then she states, I consider myself a humanist, for it to be easier for people to understand her belief, accompanied with candid moments of her life. She is seen doing her skincare and enjoying time at an amusement park, driving around, having fun with friends. This is where she explains the importance of having people to depend on, emphasizing that they will help you in everything. Then, the final message of the short film, we go from candid scenes in her life to a scene of water hitting a couple with a cloth over their faces saying yours and mine. She then returns to candid moments, including random people with smiles all on their faces to show what happiness is. She explains that happiness comes from within a person, that love attributes his being. Her final clip is her walking on the beach, holding her child, representing a new chapter in her life, saying the love for her music, husband, and child will last forever. Yours and Mine gives us insight into Beyoncé's thought process and how she views life, just like in the self-titled album. The song Ghost talks about how she views fame and the industry. It is very similar to what she says in the short film. The part of personal battles relates back to the songs Mine, Jealous, and Heaven, especially in the music videos. There are many songs and music videos that focus on her body and the use of her body in the album, which are the more sexually driven songs: Drunk in Love, No Angel, Haunted, Partition, Beyoncé, Rocket, and Blow. She shares the message of feminism and humanism in her songs Bow Down and Flawless. Then we can find the perspective of life and happiness in the songs Pretty Hurts, XO, Superpower, and Blue. The short film helped clear some of the controversies surrounding the albums, especially the ones surrounding her feminism. The main points all relate to the album and her growth, with the help of the visuals seen in the short film and visual album.